Imagine a secret, one held for decades, silencing an entire community, leaving these huge questions of justice and truth just hanging there. What happens when that silence finally breaks? Or maybe, even more chillingly, what if it just refuses to?
That's a powerful way to put it, and it really sets the stage for what we're diving into today.
Exactly. Today we're doing a deep dive into Patrick Radden Keefe's book, Say Nothing, a true story of murder and memory in Northern Ireland.
It's profound, deeply unsettling, actually.
It really is. And this exploration isn't just about a crime, it's much bigger. It's about how a whole society tries to grapple with its past.
Yeah, the immense weight of all that unaddressed trauma and the complex echoes of a really brutal conflict.
And Patrick Radden Keefe, the author, well, many of you probably know him, award-winning journalist, staff writer for The New Yorker. He's known for this, incredibly deep research.
Right, and his ability to stay objective, even when he's tackling really sensitive, really divisive topics, he brings this unique kind of unflinching lens. He absolutely does. So our mission today is really to distill the crucial insights from this, let's face it, complex book. Give you a shortcut, maybe, to understanding the huge human and societal questions it raises.
And just so you know, as you listen, you're experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM. We're aiming for a deeper, more dynamic book analysis here.
Okay, so let's get into it. The core of the book. What's the mystery that just grabs you right from the start?
Well, what's so compelling, I think, is how Keefe centers the whole thing on this single horrific event. The 1972 disappearance and murder of Jean McConville.
Jean McConville, a mother of 10 from Belfast, abducted from her home by the IRA.
The Irish Republican Army, a paramilitary group obviously deeply involved in the conflict they called the Troubles.
And her body wasn't found for decades. It's it's not just a plot point, though, is it? It's like the beating heart of the book.
Totally. It pulls you right into the devastating personal cost of the Troubles. This wasn't abstract. It was people's lives.
And the Troubles, just for anyone needing a quick refresher, this was that incredibly violent, decades-long ethno-nationalist conflict in Northern Ireland. It's the backdrop for everything Keefe writes about here.
So it's this huge, complex conflict. But what specifically made Keefe decide to write about this particular story, this dark chapter? It couldn't have been easy.
No, definitely not. The immediate trigger, the catalyst for Say Nothing, was actually an obituary in 2013. For Dolores Price.
Dolores Price. She was a former IRA member herself, wasn't she? Quite a prominent figure.
Very prominent, almost legendary within the Republican movement. Her death and what came out around it sort of reignited this very public and frankly painful discussion about all these unresolved crimes from the Troubles era.
Oh, okay. So it brought things back to the surface.
Exactly. And crucially, it brought up the ethics of how the past was being handled. Keefe saw this ongoing moral crisis around this pervasive code of silence, the one that kept protecting perpetrators and actively stopping any real societal healing.
He saw a story that needed telling, not just for the historical record, but for understanding wounds that were still very much open.
Precisely.
Okay, let's unpack this then. How does he approach a topic steeped in so much silence and pain? What was his real purpose, do you think? His goal with this book?
Well, I think his aims were kind of layered. First, definitely to inform, to shed light on this long-hidden crime, bring Jean McConville's story out.
Giving her story the attention it deserved.
Right. But beyond that, he was really trying to provoke a deeper reflection on the huge, often hidden costs of political violence. Not just the deaths, but the psychological scar, the destroyed families, the fractured communities, all of it.
The long tail of conflict.
Exactly. And he wanted to explore the ambiguities of memory itself, how it shifts, how it gets twisted over time. And really, what does justice even mean in a society that's been so broken?
So he wasn't just recounting events.
No, not at all. He was questioning how stories get told, or maybe more importantly, how they get suppressed after war. He really digs into how silence itself shapes history.
That blend sounds incredibly powerful. It makes me wonder, though. Here's where it gets really interesting. How does he manage to make such a dark, painful period so utterly compelling without, sensationalizing it?
That's a great question. How does he earn your trust with such sensitive, often contradictory material?
Yeah.
Well, I think first it's sheer dedication and his rigorous journalistic approach. His reputation precedes him, of course, but in the book itself, he builds credibility through just exhaustive research.
You can feel the work behind it.
You really can. And he's transparent about his sources. Importantly, he's open about the doubts, the gaps in the information, which weirdly makes him more trustworthy, not less.
That's interesting.
And he doesn't take sides. His nonpartisan approach is so clear. He questions everyone involved, the IRA, the British authorities, even people connected to the McConville family's search for truth.
So it's balanced.
Very balanced, almost surgical in its perspective.
Yeah.
It makes you, as a reader, really trust his depiction of this world. He's not telling you what to think. He's showing you how complex it all was.
And the emotional impact must be intense, given the subject. How does he handle that without it feeling exploitative?
Oh, absolutely. The emotional core is undeniable.
Yeah.
It centers naturally on Jean McConville and her children. The agony of that loss, unacknowledged for so long.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. And Keefe uses this incredibly vivid imagery that just intensifies the connection. Like the detail of the nappy pin, a simple diaper pin found with Jean's remains decades later.
Wow.
Yeah. It's this tiny, innocent object that becomes this incredibly potent symbol of innocence lost and the permanent scars of violence. It just hits you.
And the personal stories.
Yes, like Dolores Price's experience of being force-fed during a hunger strike, or just the shattering breakup of the McConville family after their mother disappeared. It evokes deep sympathy, maybe outrage, definitely moral distress.
And his tone helps, presumably.
Definitely. His tone throughout is sort of moody, investigative, but also deeply empathetic.
Yeah.
And weary almost, reflecting the sorrow and complexity without resorting to cheap emotional tricks. He lets the facts and the human cost speak.
He also has to build a logical case, though, right? It's not just emotion. How does he structure such a messy history?
Right. It's not just anecdotes. His logical approach is meticulous. He uses a careful chronological structure, making these really clear links between individual acts and the bigger historical trends.
Like connecting the dots.
Exactly. Moving from, say, the early civil rights marches, which seemed hopeful, to the escalating brutal violence of the Troubles. It creates this narrative flow that's both logical and accessible.
And the sources he uses.
A wide variety. Oral testimonies are huge, especially from something called the Belfast Project.
Ah, yes, the controversial oral history archive at Boston College.
That's the one, where former combatants gave interviews thinking they wouldn't be released until after they died, which didn't quite work out.
No, it became very complicated legally and ethically.
Hugely. But Keefe uses those testimonies alongside government records, extensive interviews. It creates this layered, multifaceted case about truth, denial, memory, all grounded in evidence, even with its acknowledged biases.
And his writing style supports this.
Absolutely. His language is precise, economical, but evocative. It keeps you right there, Short sentences for impact, then longer, more thoughtful passages, exploring the nuances of memory or trauma.
It sounds like he really masters narrative nonfiction, making history feel urgent. And the title itself, Say Nothing, that feels very deliberate.
Oh, it's brilliant. Very intentional. Say nothing. It's a direct nod to Seamus Heaney's famous poem, Whatever You Say, Say Nothing.
Right, which connects it immediately to that deep cultural code of silence in Northern Ireland during the Trouble.
Exactly. It speaks to the literal code enforced by paramilitaries: don't talk, don't inform. But also those deeper cultural layers about keeping quiet, not betraying.
It adds so much depth.
It really does. Specific relevance to Northern Ireland, but also this universal resonance about human silence, its costs, its impact. And there's this constant heartbreaking irony running through it, too.
Like what?
Well, the chilling fact that Jean McConville's killers were likely her neighbors, people she knew. Or the realization that the silence the IRA enforced, supposedly for their cause, was fundamentally at odds with any real justice or peace. That irony just permeates everything.
Wow. It's such a powerful thread. And speaking of powerful ideas, for those of you looking to reflect deeper on these kinds of intellectually demanding topics, we really encourage you to check out Mindful Moments. That's our YouTube channel offering AI book analysis, really designed to inspire reflection and rational thought.
It's a great resource for digging deeper into complex subjects like this one.
Definitely. So, okay, taking all this in Keefe's approach, the story, the silence, what does it ultimately mean for us, the readers? Trying to make sense of historical truth, personal memory in such a difficult context, what are the big takeaways?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, I think Keefe's work offers this profound insight into intergenerational trauma. He shows how that IRA code of silence meant to protect its members actually trapped generations in this cycle of unresolved grief and distrust.
The silence became its own kind of violence.
In a way, yes. The book really illustrates that for a society, justice delayed often means justice denied. It perpetuates trauma instead of healing it. And Keefe never gives easy answers, does he? He recognizes some wounds might be irresolvable.
And the moral compromises people made under extreme pressure.
Exactly. He avoids glorifying violence or demonizing individuals. Even IRA figures are shown as deeply conflicted, shaped by their context, ideology, their own traumas. He really scrutinizes the ethics, silence versus truth-telling, and just hammers home the consequences for survivors, for society.
And he does that by showing all the different perspectives.
IRA members, victims, bystanders, law enforcement. You get this incredible variety of experiences, motives. He weaves together conflicting narratives, honors their partial truths, but without falling into relativism. It reflects how elusive, how subjective historical truth and memory really are.
So ultimately, individual lives, like Jean McConville's, become casualties not just of the violence itself.
Right. But casualties of the collective choice, maybe, to prioritize political expediency or self-preservation over truth and accountability.
Say Nothing really is a masterclass. Narrative nonfiction at its best and just essential for understanding the Troubles. It's a meditation on memory, violence, denial. It just pulls you in.
Yeah, through that blend of incredible reporting, evocative storytelling, and really smart rhetorical choices, Keefe's book succeeds as both groundbreaking journalism and this profound reflection. It makes you think, long after you finish it, about the immense, often invisible, cost of silence.
For more engaging and intellectually stimulating content like this, definitely be sure to explore Mindful Moments and all of our podcasts. You'll find more deep dives into fascinating books and complex ideas, all designed to help you stay informed and think critically.
So the final question Keefe leaves us with, perhaps. If silence itself can be a weapon, what does it truly take for a society to heal, to speak its truth, even decades later?
And what does that mean for our own hidden truths, right? To dive even deeper into this incredible book, click the link on screen for the in-depth book summary. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share this deep dive with others who love to learn.
And consider purchasing the book via the link provided it supports the author. Most importantly, keep thinking critically about the world around you. These lessons from the past, they definitely resonate today.